This is Kalyan Kumar. On behalf of Pi Mathematics Association, PMA, I welcome you all to this webinar. I will give a brief introduction about Pi Mathematics Association. PMA was founded in 2007 by Professor Sivaraman. So it was created with the aim of removing the mathematics phobia among students and also the general public. Since its inception, it has conducted various lectures, exhibitions, and workshops across various educational institutions. It has also published several books in both English and Tamil to help the students to understand the concepts, mathematical concepts easily. Apart from this, it has also created many vinyl charts and models to help the students to understand mathematical concepts. Till last year, we were conducting this workshop as a like in a classroom session. So because of this corona outbreak, we are conducting this year through this online webinar. So now I will hand over the session to Professor Sivaraman. He will be presenting the presenter to the audience. Thank you.
So good morning to all. I take great pleasure in introducing Dr. B.J. Balamurugan, who was a professor at VIT Chennai. He was very close to me for the past 5 years or so. When I went for a talk at Agni College of Technology, when he was professor there at that time. And since I met him, he was very closely moving with us, both personally to me as well as to our association. Even for this talk, when I approached him, he immediately agreed without any hesitation. So we are very thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation to provide this talk. And I hope it will be a great experience for young students. Professor Balamurugan, Dr. Balamurugan was an expert in graph theory. He had published more than 40 research papers, and he is currently guiding 5 research scholars, PhD scholars for their PhD program. And being working in a research institute, it's very hard to do teaching as well as research. People like me know that how hard it is. I mean, for substituting both, like being a teacher, being a researcher is very hard task, but he does it very well. And he's one of our very close friends. So he has been to countries like UK and US for giving lectures, conducting conferences and all those things. Most of his papers were published in international journals like Scopus Index and other things. And he is one of person who is very much interested. Whenever I talk to him, he always asks me to, sir, is there any program to get organized? You come to our VIT Chennai, we will organize for you. So he is readily agreeing to provide space, to provide all comfortable things to propagate mathematics. That is one of his, that shows how much interest he possesses in the subject. So I think no better person than him is eligible for giving this lecture today. And I welcome you, sir, for giving this lecture.
Thank you, sir. First, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Sivaraman for giving this wonderful opportunity to talk something on trees and its applications, which is part of a graph theory. Not only Professor Sivaraman, even his official teammates with Pi Mathematics. Yesterday, I had interaction with them. Yesterday, we had a trial with those people, how to present, how to share the slides, all those things. It is very nice to interact with them. And I really very happy at these days in this digital world. People are giving this much of importance to highlight the importance of mathematics and removing a kind of fairness of learning mathematics among students. Really very great to really it is very great. I would like to appreciate, congratulate the founder Dr. Sivaraman and its teammates for doing this wonderful job. Okay, so with this, and also thank you, sir, for your nice introduction about me. Really, I'm very happy to associate with the Five Mathematics Association always. So with this small thing, I would like to start my lecturing. Actually, when I was discussing with Professor Sivaraman, he asked one topic of my choice. Since my research area is graph theory, I opted graph theory because it has much applications. In particular, in graph theory, the five mathematics students already learned something on domination number, their applications, all those things. So I decided to give some talk on trees and its applications. This is what my outline of today's talk. After the brief introduction, I would like to recollect the basics of graph theory, which are needed to discuss trees. Further, I would like to move on to properties of trees, then the spanning tree, and I'm going to discuss what minimum spanning tree. Finally, I would like to discuss applications of spanning tree, minimum spanning tree, all those things. So this is what my outline. And everybody knows that the origin of graph theory starts with the Königsberg problem. Okay. Actually, there is one river called Bridgel River in Russia. Probably it was under Germany, now it is in Russia. Actually, there is one river is going in which 7 bridges are constructed along the river to connect the land area. So this is what the picture of that river, and then this is called what the Königsberg. Actually, the bridges are constructed on the river. The problem is, walk through the Königsberg Bridge, and how it can be walked. We have to walk through each bridge exactly once. Okay, that is the problem. Actually, it was started. This is what the origin of graph theory. It was stated by Leonhard Euler in the year 1735. The solution is impossible. Okay. Now, anyway, I'm not going to talk about what is this. I'm not going to talk about what this particular Euler problem. Since it is an origin of graph theory, just highlighted where the graph theory started. It started with the Königsberg problem in the year 1735 by the famous mathematician Leonhard Euler. So this is the picture of this one. So this is what the extract of this particular picture. The left hand side you have one picture. Look at this, river is going like this. Okay, and in which is the blue color represents what the river, and the bridges are represents in yellow color. There are 7 bridges, and if you look at what this picture, the green color area represents land area. I can partition. I can say that this is one land area. This is what another land area. The rightmost we have one land area. The bottommost I have one land area. The problem is, start with any one of these 4 land areas, travel all 7 bridges exactly once, and come back to the starting point. So this is what the look at this. I have 4 A, B, C, D, 4 land areas. So I take what 4 land areas as what I mark like this: circle A, circle B, circle C, circle D. And whenever having bridge between one land area to another land area, I put like this. Between B and C, I have one bridge I put. Likewise, you can connect. This is what the pictorial representation of this Königsberg problem. Okay. So anyway, I'm not. As I said, what I'm not going to talk about what Eulerian path. But this is the origin. Is there a path which visits every edge exactly once? So this is called Eulerian path. Okay. Now, what is graph? How do we define graph? It is a set of objects, and you can define relations between pair of objects. Okay. So look at this picture. It is a set of objects. Objects are denoted in terms of small circles like this. And a relation means, if I say a relation between 2 objects, I connect with one line. Okay. So how can I define this mathematically. A graph G is equal to V comma E, a set of V, that is ordered pair which consisting of V and E. So the brown color, as I said, what circles with colors, brown colors represents vertices or nodes, you can call it as a node, and the set of edges are marked with these lines. So I hope you understand. The picture depicts the edges. Now this, see, in general, if I say graph, it is an ordered pair consisting of V and E. Now let us understand the terminologies involving in this particular definition. And look at this, I have two nodes which is connecting by one line. We can name individual vertices and edges. So the choice is yours. You can name, you can give name of this circle, you can give name of this circle. As I said, what these are called nodes, or you may call it as vertices. And joining these two by a line is called an edge. Look at this, I name this vertex to be mod U and this vertex to be B, and connecting these two by line by E. So here E connects U and B. E connects U and B. And I can say that U and B are endpoints of this E, endpoints of the edge E. U and E are incident. See, I use the word incident. Why I am telling all these things? Whoever learns about graph theory, one should understand the terminologies involving in basic graph theory. Incident, I can say that U and E are incident, or you can say that B and E are also incident. Now, if you take what in terms of adjacent, U and V are adjacent. So U and V are called what? Adjacent vertices. So please remember these terminologies. And sometimes one may call U and V are also neighbors. So whenever having connection between two nodes, we may call U and V are neighbors. Now, yeah, I started with this picture, but the problem is how can you draw this picture? Look at this. I have taken objects as A, B, C, D. So that is called vertices. Okay. How the relation can be defined? The edge can be defined by joining two objects. So I plot the objects like this. Okay. Whenever having a relation, okay, suppose A and C are related. B and C are related, I put what? One line. D and A are related, I put one line like this. B and D are related, I put one line like this, and CB. So this is what the graph. This is the way of drawing a graph. Okay. Even this is also true. Look at this A and C. I can place the objects differently. I draw the same graph differently. Look at this. A and C are adjacent. A and C are connecting. D and A are connecting. B and D are connecting. C and B are connecting. Without changing. Look at this AC. You can write what AC as what C also. Okay. So this is called what? How to draw a graph. In fact, often we may come across directed graph. It is nothing but to assign some direction to one edge. This is directed for small arc here. Therefore, it is called what? Arc. There is asymmetric relation. Asymmetric means what? If I have from A to B, only direction will be B. For example, you may have one flight from A to that means what? Chennai to Delhi. You may not have the flight from Delhi to Chennai with this context. So such a graphs are called what? Directed graph. Directed graphs are nothing but graphs having directions on the edges. Okay. So let us see. Look at this. In the previous case, in case of undirected graph, instead of AC, you can write what? CA. Instead of DA, even you can write as a AD. But in case of directed graph, look at this. AC means what? A to C. DA means, CA means it should be like this. Okay, please understand. So drawing a directed graph is totally different from drawing of undirected graph. And there are many ways to draw a graph. For example, if you take what the same, this graph, this can be rewritten on this form. Both graphs are the same. Both graphs are the same. In both the graphs, I have 10 vertices as well as 15 edges. So you can name like this. The same, the same graph written differently. Okay. Actually, in future, in graph theory, these graphs are called what normally they call isomorphic graphs. I'm not talking much about what isomorphic graphs. That what I'm trying to say. There are so many ways to draw a graph. Okay. Similarly, all these graphs are the same. Any one of the participants. So what you have to do, you have to count the number of vertices, count the number of edges. Based on that, you have to decide. Okay, again, I have 10 vertices, 10 edges. Of course, look at this. You have to decide whether they are, whether these two graphs represent the same or not. Okay. So actually, the famous Donald H. Kunneth is telling about what graph drawing. He says that graph drawing is the best possible field I can think of. It merges aesthetics, mathematical beauty, and wonderful algorithms. It therefore provides harmonic balance between left and right brain parts. A psychologist, a very famous psychologist, Kunneth, says that the graph drawing is very beautiful in mathematics. So I hope you understand what is this. I would like to give you some examples of graph. You can think of airline routes from various countries. So that airline movements can be drawn in terms of a graph. So look at this. If I have a flight between these two, Dakar and Bissau, direct flight I can put like this. And a Facebook graph. So we are all having a social network. That is, we have a Facebook account. How the people are connecting with each other only with help of Facebook graph. So this is called what, social graph. So look at this, how the people are connecting. For example, Joey and Chandler are friends. They are connecting with in a Facebook graph. So similarly, citation. Suppose we write one research article. How many people are referring your paper to proceed further? So that is also can be modeled with respect to a graph. So, and then dependency graph. So who are all depending. Students are depending on the teachers. Teachers are depending on the society, principal. So these are the dependency. Who are all depending each other. So the hierarchy can be modeled with respect to a directed graph. So this is one classical example. Okay, linked to open data diagram. So this is a protein interaction. Even in biology, you know how the protein can linked with other molecules. So that can be modeled with respect to what? Graph theory. Even nowadays we are in the very odd situation where everybody is fearing about what the corona, the COVID-19 virus. See, even this scenario can be modeled with respect to what graph. The affected people can be taken as nodes. Okay. For example, one person has some axis having a COVID-19 virus. How it transforms to the other person. Whenever two persons are, suppose X transforms COVID-19 to Y, so you can connect these two by a line. So the whole scenario can be modeled with respect to graph model, so that the government can implement or quarantine or contain the areas accordingly based upon the intensity of, based upon the degree, intensity, all those things. So COVID-19 situation also modeled with respect to graph. So this is what, whenever we are nowadays, we people are having navigation while moving from one to other places. That can be modeled with respect to graph theory. So Google Google search engine works based on graph theory. And then game strategies. Look at this. People are playing chess games, you know. So the movement of chess games can be modeled with respect to graph theory. So like this. So these are some examples where actually if you look at what the computer chip, the laptop chip, actual connectivity among various chips. So that is modeled with respect to what graph. So there are so many applications are there with respect to what graph models. Okay, so this is what computer chips. Okay, so before going to my topic that is called trees, I would like to highlight few more important things. A degree of a vertex. Okay, look at this. Isolated vertex forms a component. You know, this is what isolated with the water. Then we have some other object. Some board is there. Somebody have playing materials. Playing materials are there. These are forms an isolated component. Normally, in Facebook graph, that is in social network, one may see that how many mutual friends you have, is it not? Let us see how these can be. How many friends one have in the Facebook network or in LinkedIn or anywhere. That can be defined with respect to what degree of a vertex. Okay. What is the degree of a vertex? Is the number of its incident edges. How many edges are touching one particular node? So what I'm trying to say, the degree of a vertex is the number of its neighbors. Okay. So normally the degree of V can be denoted as a DEG of V. Okay. Degree of a graph is the maximum degree of its vertices. Okay. So you have to find out the degree of each vertex. You have to list out one by one. Among them, you have to find out the biggest maximum one, that is called the degree of the graph. Okay. Coming to this degree of a vertex, what can you say about the degree of V1 or degree of V? V is the central vertex. Look at this. I have V. V1 is connected. V2 is connected. V3 is connected. V4 is connected. V5 is connected. V6. 6 nodes are touching V. Therefore, the degree of V is 6. Okay. Whereas if you take what degree of V6, only one vertex V is incident with only one vertex V is adjacent to V6. Degree of V6 is 1. Degree of V5 is also 1. Degree of V4 is also 1. Degree of V3 is also 1. V2 1. V1 1. Okay. These are called what pendant vertices. Normally, the degree of, suppose a vertex has the degree 1. That vertex is called what? A pendant vertex. Am I audible to all of you, my dear students? If you have any doubt, at any moment you can raise. You can interact with me. Okay. What about this? This forms a cycle. Look at the vertices. All vertices have connected like this. So the degree of each vertex is 2. So this forms a cycle. And isolated vertices. Look at the central vertex V0 in this picture. This is called what? Isolated vertex. Isolated vertex is a vertex of degree 0. So degree of V2 is 2. Degree of V8 is 1. Degree of V0 is 0. Therefore, V0 is an isolated vertex. And what about regular graph? If you take what any vertex of this particular graph, okay, any node of this particular graph, the degree is what? 3. Here 3. You take this vertex 3. In the vertex, 1, 2, 3. That 3 edges when the touch agade. Therefore, the degree of this is also 3. So each vertex has the same degree. So this is called a regular graph. So if all the vertices have the same degree, then that is called what? Regular graph. Suppose each vertex has degree 3, that is called K regular. Whereas in this picture, the graph what I am showing here is a 3 regular graph. In general, if the degree of each vertex is K, then it is called K regular graph. Okay, the example one, the 3 regular. Okay, and then complement not necessary, I think, for you right now. Yes. Just I would like to highlight a few definitions which are related to what our tree. Let us try to understand what is path, cycle, and complete graphs. Okay. Now look at this. This is also a graph. How many vertices are there? V1, V2, Vn minus 1, and Vn. There are n vertices. All are connected, all are placed in one particular line, all are connected like this: V1 to V2, V2 to V3, V3 to etc. It goes like Vn to Vn minus 1, Vn. Okay. Therefore, this type of picture, this type of graph is called what? A path. You know, a path Pn, n greater than or equal to 2. Okay, at least we need more than 2 or more than 2 vertices. Consists of n vertices v1, v2, etc. vn, and n minus 1 edges. Look at this. What is a v1, v2 is one edge, v2, v3 is another edge. Like that, it goes like this: vn minus 2, vn minus 1 is one edge, vn minus 1 to vn. Therefore, it is a sequence of vertices and edges, starting with v1, starting with one vertex, edge, vertex, edge, vertex. It goes up to what vn. This is called path with n vertices and n minus 1 edges. Okay. So suppose if you take what? 5 vertices are there, therefore this is a path P5. And how many edges are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 vertices. I'm sorry, 4 edges are there. So this is a path on 5 vertices and having 4 edges. This is what P2. 2 vertex irukkudu. Between these two you have one edge. Therefore this is a graph P2. So am I audible to all of you? Please often confirm. Any one of you, please. Really, I do not know whether you are following, my dear students. Sir, na பேசுறது கேக்குதுங்களா? Connectivity, presentation slides are visible to you all.
It is audible. It's audible, sir.
Audible. Okay, sir. Okay. Can I proceed? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please proceed, sir.
Thank you. So this is what path P9 having 9 vertices, and please don't think that it is a cycle. Look at this, the same path P9 drawn like this, no connection between V1 and V9. Therefore, this is path P9. Okay, and cycle. If you join the first vertex and the last vertex, then it becomes what is cycle. Okay, so in cycle we have n vertices as well as n edges. Understood? So a cycle graph Cn, n greater than or equal to 3, consists of n vertices v1, etc., v2, v1, v2, etc., vn, and n edges v1, v2. So the next edge will be v2, v1. N edge is defined by taking ordered pair of vertices. Okay, vn minus 1, vn, vn, v1. So look at this. I'm joining this, the colored R. So if you join the colored R with the path, then it becomes a cycle. So the graph C5, this is what? 5 vertices are there, and the V5 and the V1 can be merged. Therefore, we get what? Cycle. So this is the actual way of drawing a cycle. Of course, it is of C5, and this is a cycle C3. Only 3 vertices are there. The C9, I have joined V1 and V9. Graph. See? Any one of you tell me what is complete graph from this picture? If you take about any 2 vertices, they are adjacent. You take V1 and V3, yes, adjacent. V1, V5 adjacent, or V5, V2 adjacent. So in a graph, every pair of vertices adjacent, then the graph is called what? Complete graph. Okay. Look at this, contains n vertices and all edges between them. Okay, actually in complete graph normally we have n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay, here we have 6 vertices. If you substitute 6 minus 6 into 5 minus 6 minus 1, 5, 6 into 5 by 2. So 6 into 5 by 2, 15 edges are available. If you count in a complete graph, in this particular complete graph, you may find what 15 edges. Okay. So this is graph K6. Okay. So this is graph complete graph K5. So if in case of K5, 5 into 5 minus 1 by 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 by 2, 2. 2 into 5, 10 edges. Please you count circumference. We have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So we have 10 edges. 10 lines. Okay. So this is what complete graph on 3 vertices. Okay, so sometimes it is also called as cycle tree. So complete graph on 3 vertices is a cycle tree, correct? If you take for any 2 vertices, you may find one edge. N minus 2. How much? If you substitute n is equal to 3, 3 into 3 minus 1, 2. 2 by 2, 2 cancel. We have only 3 edges. Okay, this is complete graph K2. This is path P2. So with this terminologies related to graph theory, one has to remember in order to proceed to trees. So please understand what is graph, how it can be drawn, where we can apply what the concepts of graph theory, and then the terminologies. When do 2 vertices are adjacent? When do you say a vertex or an edge is incident with the vertex? Okay, and then you have to understand the definition of path, the cycle. Okay, all those things. Okay, so I would like to enter to trees.
Dear sir, sorry to interrupt. Some of the students have some clarifications and they've raised hands. So could we please give them an opportunity to raise their doubts? With your permission?
Yeah. I need that type of interaction. Any one of you moderate, so that I can immediately answer to these queries.
Okay. So I could see that Sivaranjani has raised her hands. Sivaranjani, could you please ask your question to sir? Are you able to yourself?
Yeah, please.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir. I will be happy if the students interact with me, so that it will be in very lively mode.
I see one more question from Karthik. Student name. Please go ahead with your question. Hello. Okay.
Unmute and then you talk with us. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just unmuted them. I gave them
they may forget to unmute.
Oh, okay. Students, please unmute yourself
and then talk to me, sir.
Yeah, I have given you the allow to talk permission. So if you unmute yourself, you can raise your questions to sir.
Kalyan,
Sadhu
1 second.
Srilekha, yeah.
Kalyan, 1 second.
Yes, Vijay. So I just allowed them to talk.
No problem. I just tell you one thing. Participant, if you have any
Okay.
doubt, kindly just write a text message. Then whoever have a question, I'll personally unmute you and you can talk freely.
Okay, Vijay. So then, for now, can we continue with the webinar and then?
Yeah. So able to see my slide right now?
Yes, sir. We are able to see.
Yes, sir. We are able to see that.
But here my camera is not blinking. Okay, 1 minute. The video is temporarily muted, like that it is stated. Sir, hello.
Yes, sir. Please, sir, you can proceed, sir. We are audible.
Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we are able to see your face also.
But here I am getting the message that you are unmuted the video, like muted the video like that. It shows. But normally whenever in video mode, the light blinks in my computer, but right now it is not blinking. But anyway, if it is visible to you, I am ready to continue.
You also you can unmute your video, sir.
I think it is visible. தெரியுதுல்லப்பா
Visible.
இல்ல சார் சார் ஃபேஸ் தெரியல அவங்க அன்மியூட் பண்ணிருக்காங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் வீடியோவை.
The video is temporarily muted to improve the audio experience. Actually, the organizers muted my video. Even I get one echo.
Sir, we are able to see your slides, sir. If you can continue with the slides, I think till the time video is open, we can hear to the slide.
Sir, one thing, sir, you just hide your slide and you itself can unmute your video, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes because of network issue also it may happen, sir.
It's
So I think
automatically
video
unmute your video for showing your PowerPoint, sir.
Sure, sir. Sure. Now, are you able to see my slides? Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Sir rightly said that maybe due to internet connectivity, sometimes it happens. Okay. Sir, are you comfortable with, what about my dear students, are you comfortable with my presentation? Please raise your hands so that I can get a reply from the organizers. Dear students, please see, I'm not going to talk much. I'm going to throw only little bit about what graph theory. I slowly am taking what from the fundamental. Then now I have entered. Sir, உங்களுக்கு புரியலன்னா ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் யாராவது புரியலன்னா கை தூக்குங்க. நான் பேசுறது கிளியரா இல்லைன்னா so that நீங்க சொன்னீங்கன்னா சார் நான் கொஞ்சம் அதுக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி இங்க பேலன்ஸ் பண்ணிப்பேன். Okay, can I proceed? Yeah. This is connected graph. So when do you say a graph is connected? If you take what any two vertices of the graph, you may find what unique path. Okay, if you're able to see one path between every pair of vertices, then that graph is called what? Connected graph. And I look at this picture. It's a simple picture, a simple graph. I have 5 vertices, in which take any 2 vertices, you may find a path. Suppose if you take what this, are you able to see the cursor movement in my picture? So if you take what this node and this node, I'm able to get one path. Similarly, if you take what any 2 vertices here and here, you can connect. You may find a path. Therefore, it is what connected graph. Okay. Now coming to tree. Actually, it was discovered in the year 1857. The first concept developed in graph theory is what the tree. Actually, it is nothing but a connected graph not having any cycle. Connected graph and not having cycle. That is, a graph that contains no cycles is called an acyclic graph. A connected acyclic graph is called a tree, or otherwise, in simple words, any connected graph not having any cycle in that particular graph, then it is called what? Tree. Okay. Even people may use what the word forest. A graph without cycles is also called as forest. We will discuss in detail. And look at this picture. Left hand side have one graph, right hand side have one graph, in which this is not a tree. Left hand side is not a tree, the right hand side is a tree. The picture in black color is not a tree. The picture in blue color is a tree. The reason is the left hand side, I find one cycle V1, V2, V3 and V1. Because of this cycle, this is not a tree. The reason, just imagine that you are climbing one tree. Is it possible to move from one branch to what another branch? ஒரு மரக்கிளையிலிருந்து இன்னொரு மரக்கிளைக்கு உங்களால போக முடியுமா? We are human beings, we are not monkeys. Don't think of monkeys can jump from one branch to what another branch. So I'm talking about human being climb. So normally even if you take what a tree in nature, if you climb in that particular tree, you can't move from one branch to another branch. That's why this graph structure is named as tree. So tree is a graph which is a connected one and not having any cycle. Look at this. Yeah, it is a connected graph not having a cycle. The blue color picture, you take any two vertices, you take this vertex and this vertex, I'm able to find out one path, therefore it is connected, not having any cycle, therefore it is a tree. Now look at this picture. Is it tree? Yeah. Is it tree? Look at this. No, it is not tree because I have one cycle 3, 8, 10, 7, 3. So it is not a tree. And if you leave one edge between 10 and 7 or between 3 and 8 or between 10 and 8 or between 3 and 7, then it becomes a tree. Okay. Then it becomes, look at this, I drop an edge between 7 and 10, therefore it becomes what? Tree. Okay, it is a tree now. Okay, now look at this, another example. So this is what one tree, okay, sorry, one graph G. Of course it is not a tree, but I'm able to construct trees from this particular graph. By, look at this, in how many ways you can construct a tree from a given graph. Look at this. Here I drop AD so that I get what? Tree number 1. Here I drop an edge CD so that I get what? Tree number T. I get what? Tree number 2, T2. And if I drop this A and C, I get what? Another tree. All these T1, T2, T3 are connected and not having any cycle. Therefore T1 is a T1 is a tree, T2 is a tree, and T3 is a tree. And look at this. This is not a tree. So just I want to other way of constructing a tree. Other way of constructing a tree from this particular graph. Look at this. Since a cycle is there, I dropped one edge. Okay, this is another. Look at this. Here I have one cycle. Therefore, I marked it with the color. I drop it. Now it becomes what? Tree. Okay. So this is the actual definition. Tree is a connected graph without cycle. So two things have to be noted: connectedness and without cycle. Okay. Normally, if you take what any tree on n vertices, definitely you may find n minus 1 edges. For example, look at this. How many vertices are there? 6 vertices are there. Count how many edges are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 minus 1. So n minus 1 edges are there in any tree. So that's why a tree is a connected graph on n vertices with n minus 1 edges. Of course, a graph is a tree if and only if there is a unique simple path between any pair of its vertices. Okay, so you may find only unique path. You cannot find more than one path between any two vertices of a tree. For example, if you take this, you take a path between V3 and V6. I have V3, V2, V5, V4 and V6. Only one unique path. Or if you take V1 and V3, V1, V5, V2, V3. Other than this, you cannot find any other path. Therefore, in any tree, one can find only one unique path. That's why it is stated that A graph is a tree if and only if there is a unique simple path between every pair of its vertices. It is if and only if. If it is a tree, then you can find in any graph. Look at this. I'm starting with any graph. Any graph, if you find one unique simple path between two vertices, every pair of vertices, definitely that graph is a tree. So I would like to give you further examples. It is a tree. This is a tree. What about path? Can you tell me, is it tree? Yes, it is a tree. This is either you can draw a path like this, you can draw the path like this, or even if you can draw a path vertically, therefore it is also tree. Why? Because it is connected and not having any cycles. This is also it. Normally, look at this. I take whenever talking about a tree, one may find what root. One specialized vertex is called what root. Only from that vertex you can develop the tree. Look at this. B3 is a root, so I can develop tree like this. So this is a drawing connected. The number of edges is always in the n-1. As I said, if there are n vertices, there should be n-1 edges. So here B3 is what? B3 is the root. So normally this is called what root? I don't like to go in deep with respect to this. I want to discuss about what spanning tree and applications. Just I want to concentrate much on applications. And of course, look at this. V4 is a root. V4 is an internal node. V9 is internal node. V5, V6 are called leaves sometimes. V7, V8, V10 are called leaves. So the leaves are nothing but vertices in a tree with degree 1. All degree 1 vertices, all degree 1. The vertices having degree 1 are called what? The leaves. Okay. V1, V2 is also, they are also leaves. V4 and V9, look at this. The degree of V4 and V9 are more than 1. Therefore, they are called internal vertex. Okay. So, and of course, V3 is this V3 is a root. We may call it as a root. Okay. So just a small assignment to make a tree. So look at this. Remove an edge, keeping the graph connected. What you have to do? So this is the process of constructing a tree. Remove any edge, keeping the graph connected, and stop when only n-1 edges left, and ensure that not having any cycle. Look at this. And leave it. No, you cannot leave V1 and V5. It will become disconnected. I have a cycle here. I'm leaving V1 and V. Yeah, because of having cycle, either you can leave this or even you can leave it. Yeah, it's still I have one cycle. So this is what the final tree. So 5 vertices are there. 5 minus 1, 4 edges are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't like to discuss bipartite graph. This is making a tree, and just I would like to summarize the properties of the tree. There is one and only one path between every pair of vertices in a tree. Please remember. If in a graph G there is one and only path between every pair of vertices, then it is a tree. So a tree with n vertices has always n-1 edges, as I said. A connected graph, you take what any connected graph n with n vertices and n-1 edges, it is always a tree. A graph is a tree if and only if it is minimally connected. Minimally connected means what? So you have to reduce the number of edges up to what? n-1. you should not have more than n minus 1 edges in a tree with n vertices. That is why it is called as minimally connected. A graph G with n vertices, n minus 1 edges, and no circuits is always connected graph. So all these properties are equivalent. Okay, equivalent means one implies the other one implies what the next one, like that. So I don't like to discuss the properties in detail. The proofs, I don't like to discuss the proof. As I said, what I want to concentrate on application. Okay, so already I told you all these things. Now the first problem is draw a tree on n vertices. So as I said already, I have shown one example how to draw a tree from a given graph. So one may practice of drawing a tree. Okay, what is the number of, as I said already, I have explained the theory parts, already I have stated some properties. My second question is, what is the number of edges of a tree on n vertices? As I said, what this is the theorem, already I told you, n minus 1 edges. What is the number of trees on n vertices? Draw all trees on n vertices. Yeah, look at this. The question is, draw all trees on n vertices. N is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So when n is equal to 1, the number of trees is what? 1. When n equal to 2, then also we have 1. When n equal to 3, there are 3 different trees. N equal to 4, there are 16 trees. When n is equal to 5, there are 125. So look at this. I model this 2 power 0. This is what 3 power 1, 4, 16, 4 square, 5 power 3. By induction, this idea can be generalized. So which is given in terms of Cayley's formula. The number of trees on n vertices is given by how many trees one can draw on a given graph. Okay, so already I have explained in the previous slide, in previous slides, how to get what tree. We have to remove the edges one by one, ensure that a cycle is removed from our discussion, ensure that the graph is connected, and finally please you check the relationship. You count the number of vertices and check whether you have n minus 1 vertices in case of having n vertices in the tree. So generalizing this idea, suppose the number of different trees on the vertex set v1, v2, vn. Suppose we have n vertices, one can draw n power n minus 2 vertices. One can draw n power n minus 2 different trees. N power n minus 2 different trees. This can be proved using what is this? Using mathematical induction, one can prove this result. Okay, so already I stated the properties, but yeah, let T be a graph with n vertices, then the following statements are equivalent. T is connected and has no cycles, and T has n minus 1 edges and has no cycles. T is connected as n minus 1 edges, and T is connected and the removal of any edge disconnects T. So already I stated this. Now already I told you about what the leaf is a vertex of degree 1. So every tree with at least 2 vertices has at least 2 leaves. Okay, now what is the maximal and the minimal number of leaves in a tree of order n? Path Pn star escape, one may think of this. So what is the maximal and the minimal number of leaves in a tree of order n? Suppose if you take a path Pn, can you tell me how many leaves are there? Only the n vertices. So the leaf is nothing but a pendant vertex. Pendant vertex is nothing but a vertex of degree 1. இல்லைங்களா? அப்ப பாத்துல இந்த ரெண்டு எண்ட் பாயிண்ட்ல இருக்கிற வெர்டிசஸ் தான் வந்து degree 1. Therefore it has only 2 vertices of minimum number, only 2 leaves. What about star Sn? Starன்றது என்னன்னா சென்டர்ல ஒரு வெர்டெக்ஸ் இருக்கும், சர்க்கம்ஃபரன்சஸ்ல சைக்கிள்ல அந்த சைக்கிள் மேல இருக்கிற எட்ஜஸ் ரிமூவ் பண்ணீங்கன்னா ஸ்டார். ஸோ k1 n minus 1ல 1 represents the central vertex, n minus 1 vertices are connected to that central vertex. Therefore, the n minus 1 vertices are leaves in the graph of star. Yeah, I'm coming to what is spanning tree. So this is what the application where I am thinking of. So spanning tree of a graph is a subgraph which is a tree and which contains all the vertices of G. Please remember, subgraph is nothing but, so in one particular graph, if you drop some edges or some vertices, or if you drop some vertices as well as some edges, you will get what another graph. That graph is called what? Subgraph. What is the spanning tree of a graph? Is a subgraph. Basically, it is a tree and should contain all the vertices of that particular G. Therefore, what I am trying to say, if you are given one graph G, you have to drop only the edges. So if you drop the edges, you will get what? The subgraph. You have to drop the edges one by one in order to get what? Tree which contains all the vertices of the graph. That is called what? Spanning tree. Again, so this lemma states that a graph G has a spanning tree if and only if connected. So please remember, if it is not connected, the graph is not connected, okay, you cannot get the spanning tree. So every connected graph has at least one spanning tree. So you may have more number of spanning trees. So next I'm going to discuss how to construct different spanning trees using one algorithm. But before that, every connected graph has at least one spanning tree. Please understand, if the graph is connected, definitely we will get what? One spanning tree. Okay, find a spanning tree of a given graph. So that is what the problem one man think in mind. Now the problem is find the number of spanning trees of a given graph. So look at this. I want to discuss this particular problem. Find a spanning tree of a given graph G. Look at the solution. Already I would explain, but this is the other way of approaching to get what is spanning tree. Okay, G contains a cycle. Delete an edge from this cycle. So you have so many cycles. Just I drop this edge. I remove this cycle, and I break what? This cycle. I break this cycle. Still, it has cycle. Look at this. Look at this. I didn't delete any vertex. I deleted only some edges of this graph. Therefore, I get this graph. Look at this. It is connected, having all the vertices of this graph. Therefore, it is spanning tree. So, not having cycle, connected, having all the vertices. Therefore, it is spanning tree. So, solution 2. The other way, add a new edge. Add a new edge such that the resulting graph has no cycle. The other way, look at this. One way is deleting, or you can highlight like this, highlight like this, highlight like this, highlight like this. So colored edges. Look at this. The colored edges forms spanning tree consisting of all five vertices. Okay, this is other way of getting. One way is deleting the edge. The other way is just the same adding the edge and getting what? The spanning tree. Find the number of spanning trees of a given graph. So I have a graph G, B, E. Tau of G denote the number of spanning trees of G. Now, how many spanning trees one can construct? How many different spanning trees one can construct from a given graph, which is given by the Kirchhoff's matrix tree theorem. Kirchhoff's matrix tree theorem. So this is what the algorithm. Sir, am I audible? Any one of you please acknowledge so that I can continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, we are able to hear you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, now I would like to discuss about construction of a spanning tree using Kirchhoff's matrix theory. So, I do not know how many of you aware of the adjacency matrix. So, I will explain here. Let G be a loopless graph such that V is equal to V1, V2, etc. Bn. We have n vertices on a given graph. The first step is construct an adjacency matrix G. I tell you how to construct, okay? And D be the diagonal matrix with DII, D degree of VI is the degree of the matrix V. So I have the matrix in which the diagonal elements represents degree of each vertex, okay? And I construct a matrix M from this diagonal matrix, subtract A, so that I get what D minus it is a Laplacian matrix. And for J varies from 1 to n, removing ith row and ith j of this M. So in this constructed matrix, M is equal to D minus A. If you drop a row and drop a column, I will get what a resultant submatrix, which is a square matrix in nature. If you take what the determinant value is the number of different spanning trees of one graph. So this is called what the Kirchhoff matrix theorem. Just I will explain. Okay. Now find the number of spanning trees of a given graph using that Kirchhoff's matrix theorem. Okay. So first step is I want to name. I name the vertices V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. Okay. So the first step is adjacency matrix. It is a square matrix in which the entries are zeros and ones. Look at this. It is 5 by, you will write like this: V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, and then column wise V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. Look at this: V1, V2. I'm not having loop. I'm not interested on multi graphs. I consider only the simple graph. Simple graph is a graph not having any loops, not having any parallel edges. Look at this: V1 not having 0. Between V1 and V2, I have one edge, put 1. V1, V3 not having 0. V1 is adjacent to V4, put 1. V1 is adjacent to V5, put 1. Similarly, V2, second row, this second row. So I take what V2, V1, 1. You can mark in the left hand side V1, V2, V3, here V3, V4, V5. Row wise I can, first row stands for V1, second row stands for V2, third row stands for V3, fourth row stands for V4, fifth row stands for V5, first column stands for V1, second column stands for V2, third column stands for V3, fourth column stands for V4, fifth column stands for V5. Okay, after writing that, the entries can be filled like this. Whenever two vertices are adjacent, put 1. If they are not adjacent, put what 0. So this is what adjacency matrix. Similarly, if you take V3, V1 not having edge, put 0. V3, V2 having edge, put 1. V3 not having edge, put 0. V3, V4 not having edge, 0. V3, V5, 1. Likewise, you have to fill the other one. And look at this: degree of V1 is 3, degree of V2 is 4. 4 edges are touching V2, 4. Degree of V3 is equal to 2. Degree of V5 is 3. Degree of V4 is 2. Now I write what diagonal matrix in which the diagonal elements are degrees of each vertex. 3 degree of V1, 4 degree of V2, 4 edges incident with V2 or touching with V2. That's why I put it as 4. V3, 2 edges are incident with V3. Likewise, so write this. Then construct a matrix M, D minus A. This is called what? Laplacian matrix. Okay, so look at this. If you subtract 0 minus d minus 3, 3 minus 0, 3, 0 minus 1, like this. This is subtraction matrix. Now you take ith row, jth column, delete it. Either you can choose first row, first column, delete it. Choose third row, third column. Choose any row and a corresponding column and delete it. Okay. So look at this. If you delete what first row and the first column, the remaining thing I have is this. If you take what the determinant, the value of the determinant is 21. So one can construct 21 different spanning tree from this particular graph. Okay, this is what spanning tree. Okay, suppose if we take what the complete graph, the number of spanning trees is given by n power n minus 2. So anyone is interested in the proof, please refer to any one of the textbooks, either RRA or Bande and Murthy, Narsingadeyo. Please refer any one of these textbooks. You may find what proof of this particular formula. If Kn represents a complete graph on n vertices, then the number of spanning trees is what? N power n minus 2. Okay, so the same idea can be weighted, and I would like to move on to minimal spanning tree. Okay, what is the use of constructing this type of spanning tree? Among the spanning trees, which one is the better one? Suppose in case of weighted graph, what is the weighted graph? Each edge has an associated value, its weight. Normally, if you look at what route map between various towns of Tamil Nadu, what is the distance between Chennai to Vellore? 150 kilometers. What is the distance between Vellore to Tiruvannamalai? Tiruvannamalai to Viluppuram to. So, whenever two towns are connected by edge, you may denote the distance between them with respect to some positive number. Therefore, it is called a weighted graph. So, weighted graph is a graph in which all the edges are having some weight. The weights may differ from graph to graph. In case of distance, it is in terms of what kilometers. That is a positive number. In case of Boolean ideas, whenever having connection, put 1. Whenever not having connection, put what 0. Even zeros and 1s can be assigned. In general, a weighted graph is a graph in which all the edges are having some numbers. Now, the minimum spanning tree is a spanning tree that minimizes the weights on the edges in the tree. So, you have to construct a tree from a given weighted graph such that the sum of the weights on the edges should be minimum. Okay, now let us see one important result which will give you the minimum weighted spanning tree of a given graph. Okay, and that is called what Kruskal algorithm. Okay, so I don't like to explain this with respect to the picture. I want to explain this. Okay, now this is a weighted graph. Weighted graph. Why it is a weighted graph, my dear students? All the edges are marked with numbers. Look at this, 1, 5, 9, like this. So the first step is I want to name the vertices like V1, V2, V3, etc. So first you name it V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. So totally I have 13 vertices. Okay. Now what I do, look at this. Okay. Arrange the edges of this graph in increasing order with respect to what weight. So one is the least weight. It appears 3 places. So look at this: V2, V6, V6, V5, V6, V11. So next, so what I'm trying to say, after naming the vertices, the second step is arrange the edges with respect to weight in increasing order, starting from least weight, next least weight, next least weight, next least weight. It goes like this. So next V3, V4. So these 4 edges are having the weight 2, and the next 3, 3. It goes like this. Okay. So now after that, we have to start to construct the minimal spanning tree. V2, V6 having the minimum weight 1. Therefore, I take that particular edge. So mark it with green. Okay. Next, I want to take V6 and V11. V6 and V11. Yes, I include. If you, yeah. Next, V6 and V11. I want to include this. Please remember that the green color indicates that I am choosing one edge. If you choose that particular edge, if it does not form a cycle, then include it. Mark it as red. Next least weight is V6, V11. See, here you can choose according to your choice, or you can break the tie according to your choice. Either you can choose V5, V9 or V6, V11. Now I want to choose V6, V11. Cycle is not forming. I mark it as red. Next V5, V9. Yes, here comes here. Cycle is not forming. Yes, I include it. V3, V4. Next, I want to include next edge with the small weight. V3, V4. V3, V4. It has 2. Yes, cycle is not forming. Mark it. V3, V7. V3, V7. It is also having. So cycle is not forming. I include in the construction. Next is V4, V7. V4, V7. Yeah, look at this. At this junction, you have to listen. V4, V7. Now, if you include, cycle is forming. So that is not to be included because a tree does not contain a cycle. So that is not included. Next, so I want to leave this. Next, I move on to next edge. I want to choose what another edge with the least weight, which is nothing but V1, V2, whose weight is what 3. V1, V2. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, another edge is also having weight 2. Yes, yes. So cycle is not forming. I included, and then V1, V2. V1, V2. Yes, cycle is not forming. Included. Then V10, V13. So cycle is not forming. Include. V2, V5. Here cycle is not forming. Include. V6, V7. Cycle is not forming. Include. V4, V8. Cycle is not forming. Include. V5, V6. Cycle is forming. Just imagine. If you include V3, V6, cycle is forming. Leave it. Next, V5, V10. Cycle is not forming. Include. See, once if you get what all vertices in our construction, and if it is connected, you need not move further. V7, V8. I don't like to move further because this construction, okay, stopping at V5, V10, whose weight is 5, gives you a tree which has what all the vertices of the graph. Look at this. This tree connects all 13 edges of the graph. Therefore, I stop the process. I don't like to include the other edges in the construction. I stop at this stage. Therefore, this is what the required minimal spanning tree with respect to Kruskal's algorithm. It is possible to prove that the correctness of the Kruskal's algorithm. So if you write what based on the algorithm, if you write one program in computers, you can very well check the correctness. So this is called what? Construction of minimal spanning tree. Okay, using Kruskal's algorithm. We have one more algorithm that is called what Prim's algorithm. The same graph I want to take. Okay, so as usual, you name all the vertices, V1, V2, etc. up to V13. I explain the Prim's algorithm with respect to what this example. I don't like to explain because of time constraint. I don't like to explain this algorithm. I would like to explain the algorithm in terms of this particular example. Okay, so you can start your journey arbitrarily at any vertex according to your choice. Choose any vertex. See, in Kruskal's algorithm, I have included the edges one by one. Okay, I developed what is spanning tree and reached what the minimum spanning tree. Okay, that is what edge oriented. Starting with one edge, I have chosen another edge I have constructed. Okay, now in Prim's algorithm, the minimum spanning tree can be constructed by choosing one arbitrary vertex. Let us choose with V1. Okay, yes, I choose this. So V dash is equal to V1. Now I have not chosen any edge. The next, see, look at the vertices which are adjacent to V1. Like, am I audible, please? Any one of you, my dear students? If you have any doubt, you can ask. We lately started 11:15, 11:20 only we started. Just I will adjust the class accordingly. Don't kindly excuse me to exceed the class for another 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Sir, am I audible? The thing is, I am not visible to you
Yes,
all.
sir.
I
Yes.
think.
Yes, sir. It's
But
Yeah, we are able to. Yeah.
Okay, fine, sir. So look at this Prim's algorithm. I chosen V1. Look at the vertices which are adjacent to V1, V2 and V5. Okay, out of these two, which one is very near to V1 with respect to the weight? So V1, V2 is having 3 and V1, V5 is 10. Therefore, look at this. I choose what? These two are adjacent, but I choose what V2 because it has minimal weight. Okay, so in edge set, I have included V1, V2. So V dash represents vertex set and E dash represents edge set that I include one by one. Okay, now V2. From V2, tell me the vertices which are adjacent to V2. V3 is adjacent, V5 is adjacent, V6 is adjacent. Okay, so these are adjacent. Now the green color edges represents what the weight. Among these three, V2 and V6 have the least weight. Therefore, I would like to choose V6. V2, V6. Okay. Next, with respect to V6, look at. See, please keep in mind. Don't forget what the already green colored edges. Keep in mind always. Now, look at the edges which are adjacent to. Look at the vertices which are adjacent to V6, V3, V5 and V11. Okay, of course V10. Now, among the green colored edges, okay, not with respect to V6, even previously chosen green colored edges, which one is having the least weight? I think this one is this, the one is what having the least weight. Therefore, I would like to include V11 next. I choose what this. Now, with respect to V11, V7 and V10 are adjacent. Therefore, I mark with them. Now, among all the green colored edges, which one is having what? The least weight. So 10, 10 I cannot choose. 5 is there, 7 is there, 4 is there, 10 is there. Therefore, only V2, V3 can be included. Just I want to include V5. So V5, V2 can be included. Clear? Now, from V5, look at the vertices adjacent. V9 is adjacent, V10 is adjacent. Therefore, I mark them as a green with respect to what edge. Now, among all the green colored edges, only V5, V9 is having the least weight. Therefore, I would like to include V9 next by including the edge V5, V9. Next, identify the vertices which are adjacent to V9, V10 and V12. So mark them with the green color. Now 9 is there, 11 is there. Don't only consider the vertices which are adjacent to V9. Please you consider other edges already chosen, already marked with green color. Okay. Now among all green colored edges, only this one having 5 and this having 4. So the least one is what? V6, V7. Therefore, I would like to include V7 by including the edge V6, V7. Next, identify the vertices which are adjacent to V7. So 3 vertices are adjacent. Okay. Now, among all the green edges, which one is having the least edge? I think, look at this. Yes, only I think the edge is having the edge weight 2. V7, V4 having the edge weight 2, and this one tie occurs. You can choose, you can break the tie according to your choice. I want to choose V3 by including the edge V7, V3. Next, for V3, V4 is there. Okay. Now, among all the green colored edge, choose the edge which is having minimum weight. Now, at this moment, you have to be very careful. Look at this. This edge is having 2, and V7, V4 edge is also having 2. The choice is yours again. Okay. Either you can choose V7, V4 or V3, V4. Okay. Next, from V4, V8 is what? Adjacent, mark it as weight. So again, you search the edge which are marked with green and having least edge. I think only this one 4. So include the edge V4, V8. Next, V8 already incident, already it is marked, already it is adjacent. Okay. Next, I will proceed. Among the green colored one, which one is having the least edge? This one 5. So include V10, V5. Then among the green colored, now V10 is adjacent to. No, look at this. V8 already it is adjacent to V7. Already we have chosen the edge V7, V8. Therefore, I am not able to choose any edges at this moment. Since I am not able to choose any edge at this moment, among the available green colored edges, this one is the minimum weight. Therefore, I have chosen. Now you are able to see that 2 vertices are adjacent to V10. Therefore, I mark with them. I connect with them with the green color edge. Among them, among the green colored edge, choose the least edge, least weight edge. This is now V3, V12 is adjacent, marked with the green color. Among this is the least. Now, almost I brought what all 12 vertices, 13 vertices. Look at this. Once if you get all 13 vertices into our picture, you need not to proceed further. So I think I'm sorry. Yeah, it is. I think not necessary to proceed further. It is possible to prove that the correctness again. So using using this particular algorithm, one may write what one may write the program in the computer and check the correctness. So this is called what Ping's or Jernig's algorithm. Okay. So I started with the definition of graph theory, and then I told you the origin of graph theory, and then somewhat I told the important terminologies involving in graph theory, how to construct a graph, then where one may think of to construct the graph. Then I started to what a tree, which is what the first concept developed in graph theory. Then I discussed about the properties, then spanning tree, and finally I come to what constructing of minimal spanning tree. So the question is, does there exist a tree with no leaves? I'm asking. Just before concluding in another 5 to 10 minutes, just I would like to give you Okay. Okay. I would like to give you some applications of trees or applications of spanning tree one can find in a day-to-day life. Okay. Not this one, what I'm showing in this slide. Just imagine that gas distribute. Just imagine that in one big apartment, distribution of domestic gas to various houses. I repeat, in one big apartment, let us consider the scenario of distributing the gas to various houses of the apartment. If actually the problem is எப்படி ஒரு இடத்துல இருந்து எல்லா வீட்டுக்குமே வந்து கேஸ் கனெக்ஷன் கொடுக்கணும். இப்போ எல்லாம் நம்ம வந்து சிலிண்டர் வீட்டா கொடுக்கறது அது மாதிரி நான் பண்ணல. If you look at what some very good apartments in the city, ஒரு ஜெனரலா ஒரு சென்ட்ரல் பாயிண்ட் இருக்கும். அந்த சென்ட்ரல் பாயிண்ட்ல இருந்து will distribute gas to various apartments. The problem is I want to construct the pipelines. I want to give the gas connections to all the houses of that apartment. Okay. The construction should be what minimal. More number of gas pipelines கொடுக்க கூடாது. Money involved ஆகுது. Construction cost அதிகமாகும். Less costல how one can construct gas pipelines in an apartment from one center point. இல்லைங்களா? ஒரு வீட்டுக்கும் இன்னொரு வீட்டுக்கும் கனெக்ஷன் இருந்துச்சுன்னா ஒரு சைக்கிள் ஃபார்ம் ஆகிடும். அந்த சைக்கிள் ஃபார்ம் ஆகக்கூடாது. அப்படி சைக்கிள் ஃபார்ம் ஆனாக்க இட் இஸ் நாட் எ ட்ரீ. அப்போ கேஸ் கனெக்ஷன் நீ அதிகமாக கன்சம்ஷன் பண்ணியா இல்லை நான் அதிகமாக கேஸ் கன்சம்ஷன் பண்ணேனா அப்படிங்கிற கொஸ்டின் வந்துடும். Therefore, this comes under minimum spanning tree. So you have to connect the pipelines to various houses of the apartment in such a way that the distance to that particular house is minimum. Minimum cost of construction is minimum. Only it is possible if you model them with respect to minimum spanning tree. Okay, I'm not touching the coloring problem. Other I would like to give you other examples where one can think of what the applications of graphs as well as the in particular applications of the tree. As I said, I from the beginning onwards I'm telling you that the social network, the Facebook, how you are connecting with other people obviously describes what graphical structure, that the connection can be described in terms of graph. Then telephone networks. So telephone networks, yes, the இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம ஸ்ட்ரீட்ல டெலிஃபோன் லைன்ஸ் எல்லாம் லே பண்ணிட்டு போயிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. அந்த நெட்வொர்க்ஸ் இஸ் ஆல்சோ பேஸ்ட் ஆன் கிராஃப் தியரி. Job applications. See, 10 jobs are there, 7 people are there. See, for example, otherwise, look at this particular scenario. In our maths department, 7 maths teachers are there, maths professors are there. Okay, and possible classes are algebra, complex analysis, graph theory, and then some other subjects like operations research. We may have so many different classes. Which teacher has to assign which course? Which maths professor is assigned to algebra? Which maths professor has to assign with algebra? Which maths professor has to assign with complex analysis? Which maths professor has to assign with the differential equations? So this type of assignment is based on bipartite graph. Actually, I didn't discuss much about what the bipartite graph. It is basically based on bipartite graph. Traveling salesman problem, again, it is based on path. See, traveling salesman problem or postman problem, nowadays Chinese postman problem, both are same. Nowadays we are courier man. Let us assume that the scenario of a courier man distributing parcels at all houses in one particular town. The scenario is he has to travel all the streets exactly once, and then he has to distribute the parcel at various houses. He has to minimize the traveling distance. He has to minimize the time. So everything modeled with respect to what the traveling assessment, from utility problem, broadcasting, everything. Broadcasting means what? The satellite, how the links are connecting various houses, how the internet is connecting. All these things can be connected with respect to graphs. So if you coloring problems, suppose we want to paint a building with a minimum number of colors. Okay, normally whenever painting a building, we look at what no two adjacent walls receive what the same color. So we have to use what different colors, correct or not? So normally coloring concept deals with respect to not receiving the same colors in adjacent vertices or adjacent edges or adjacent regions. So we may find many applications of coloring problem. Okay, so I discussed about the various applications, and see the main thing what I discussed in today's lecture is construction of the tree properties, then construction of spanning trees, how many spanning tree one graph has, whether it has 10 or 15, 20. So we had our algorithm, what is the name of we had our algorithm, with help of that algorithm, the Kurzweil's algorithm and the Prim's algorithm are meant for to construct minimal spanning tree, optimal spanning tree. Optimality is there, but one can instruct in design. In how many ways one can design? The number of Kirchhoff's matrix tree theorem. Kirchhoff's matrix tree theorem gives you different spanning trees on a given graph. Okay. Then Prim's and Kurzweil's algorithm gives you. Now the question is, does there exist a tree with no leaves? This is for fun question. Yes. Look at this. This is also a tree. If you cut down a tree, is a stump of tree still a tree? So what I'm trying to convey to you all, yesterday was the day meant for environmental day, World Environmental Day. Actually, people planted trees. People started to discuss on environment by planting what trees. So today is what the next day of the environmental day. So I tried my level best to convey some properties of trees, some construction of trees, some applications of tree. So this question says no. If you cut down a tree, is a stump of tree still a tree? The answer is no. So we will not to cut the trees, we will save the environment, we will plant the trees. With this, I stop my lecturing. If you have any questions, please ask me. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Balamurugan sir, for the wonderful session. So I hope it was much informative for the students, and it will be much helpful for them in their future studies as well.